welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle that two of our testers are raving about. It's called Tilting, and it's by SSG, and you can see that these cages in the grid are rather peculiar. They have some very large numbers attached to them. But the other thing I see when I read, when I look at the puzzle, and I have read the rules, so I do understand what these giant cages are doing, is the symmetry of this is really rather profound. If you actually trace it through, you've got sort of 120 cages and 248 cages, and they're all sort of rotationally symmetrical. And these 6-8 quadruple clues, which all seem to also be rotationally symmetrical. So I am fairly perplexed about how this has a unique solution. But anyway, that's by the by. Why is it called Tilting? I think it's because this might look a bit like a windmill. And so we're in Don Quixote land here, tilting at windmills. Let's hope that that is not actually what happens, because I think tilting at windmills is an expression which means, you know, trying and failing to do escapades. And I don't want to fail in this escapade today and make a dud video. So I'll read you the rules to this one in just a second. A couple of things to mention first. We'll start off with birthdays. So Elizabeth, I think you're over in Vienna, if I'm not mistaken. And Chris got in contact with us to say that you really enjoy the channel, you have all the apps, and so I really hope that you've had a brilliant day today with lots of cake. And Mary, we also had a bit of intel that it's your birthday today, and this is from your old office mate Alex. So Alex said that when you were both working together, you'd often sort of, I think, use your lunch hours to watch Sudoku videos and try and solve Sudoku, which sounds like a much better way of spending time than doing any office-related work to me. But now you don't work together anymore, but he would like to wish you a very happy birthday. So Mary, we hope you have a brilliant day too. And finally, Mitch. Now, Mitch, I know you're turning 22 today, but your girlfriend's name, I fear, when I say it, is going to wake up the lady in the corner. We'll risk it. Alexia, your girlfriend told us that she didn't wake up. Told us that it's Mitch's birthday, so we hope you've had a brilliant birthday as well. Now, loads more of you have somehow managed to become Patreon doctors overnight as well by completing the doctoral pack from the Paint by Institute, Paint by Numbers Institute, I should say, that's made up of Panthera, Grockles and the Asylum's puzzles. The doctoral pack has something like 35 to 40 of these puzzles in it. Not all of them are easy either. So very well done to Dr. Grufty. I think you must be a doctor in real life as well as in Sudoku land, but it's much better to be a doctor in Sudoku land. Daniel Abrams, Patrick McCool, Jonathan Share, I think that's Share. It's not Shane, is it? Let me get my piece of paper closer to me. Yes, Jonathan Share. Nate Davis, to Jacko Dreaja. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Jacko. Eric Duankirken. I hope I'm saying that correctly as well. And to Brett Gator. I'm more confident I'm saying that correctly. So well done to all of you. Fabulous solving. Those of you who haven't had a go yet, do check it out. It's over on Patreon right now. There are 2 packs, one of which is sort of normal standard, very approachable. The other is slightly harder and much longer. So we're getting all of these people who are somehow managing to get through all the puzzles. It is fabulous. Now, if you'll indulge me, I would also like to share with you a little email that we had yesterday from Michael Lavina. Now, this was about his wife, Ilana, and it's just an absolutely beautiful email. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but I'm going to read some of it out because Ilana has just basically graduated from a paediatric residency, Anyway, this is the email. So my wife Ilana is graduating from paediatric residency this month, and the last 3 years have been stressful through both personal and work-related struggles. In general, residency is hard for any doctor, working 80+ hours a week and over 28 hours in a row. Gosh, I thought that said 20 hours, and then my brain said no, it can't say that, and then I realized it said 28 hours. Good grief. But the backdrop of the global pandemic has made this harder for everyone. Some patients at the hospital didn't make it, and some family members didn't either. I try to be there for her, but I'll be honest, I wasn't enough sometimes. However, whenever she is having the worst of days, the one thing that helps her through is for us to sit together and watch the Sudoku video. Your videos have been so helpful to the emotional and mental stability in our lives, which is an astonishingly amazing thing to hear, to be honest. Michael goes on to say, she is one of the kindest and most caring doctors you will ever meet. We have a closet full of children's toys and happy birthday banners in case one of her patients has a birthday while they're in the hospital. She led a project to empower foster parents by creating specific care plans for new foster kids with the unique medical challenges that may come along with that. She helped women in homeless shelters by collecting and distributing feminine hygiene supplies and school supplies packs for children. She takes extra time after work to just sit and chat with patients who are nervous and to be there for families in their most stressful times. This again is after she has worked 80 plus hours in the hospital against the backdrop of the global pandemic. And I haven't even begun to tell you how brilliant she is. I would say that her only weakness is that she doesn't see how amazing she is sometimes, and of course any praise I give her, she just says is because I am her husband, and I'm supposed to say nice things. And while that is true, of course, it's easy to say nice things about her because she is such an amazing person. And Michael asks us to congratulate her on passing her residency, which we are only too proud to do. And what I will tell you is that I think every single person watching this video, Michael, would love to have somebody in their lives who would write an email about them the way you've written about your wife, Ilana. And Ilana, I think I can also say on behalf of the entire viewership of Cracking the Cryptic and both Mark and me, what an amazing person you seem to be. So do take some credit for that. It is it's remarkable the work and the stress that you must have gone through and be going through. I think it doesn't bear thinking about for normal human beings, and we congratulate you wholeheartedly on getting through your residency. And I believe you're now starting a paediatric emergency medicine fellowship, and we hope that goes brilliantly as well. So I hope you don't mind me doing things like that occasionally. We do get some really remarkable emails, and sometimes I think they are worth sharing for some of the joy and the credit that we can give as a result. Now, all that said and done, let's have a look at tilting by SSG, and I'll read you the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in circles must appear at least once in the 4 surrounding cells. So that means that we have to put the digits 6 and 8 into those 4 cells at least once. 6 and 8 in here, 6 and 8 in here, 6 and 8 in here. Now, giant killers. Digits in cages may not repeat. In each cage, digits are grouped into pairs of adjacent cells, each cell used exactly once. Each pair is a 2-digit number, read left to right or top to bottom, and the sum of the 2-digit numbers is given in the upper left corner of the cage. So I think what that's saying is that, let's look at this 120 cage. It's saying we need to basically divide it into dominoes. That's our first task. So I think there is only one way of dividing that into dominoes, and it's like that. And then we know that this number here plus this number adds up to 120. So we have to read this as a 2-digit number. So let's make this number, and this is where I'm going to test my maths. I was going to put 48 in there. If that's 48, then this has got to be a 7 and this has got to be a 2 to make this add up to 120. I think that looks correct. So that's how a 120 cage could work. 248 cage is that looks much more difficult to do. And this is part of solving I'm going to contest, so I'm not going to attempt to do an example, but I think the idea again is that we have to divide this up into dominoes. So let's just do that in one I've managed to even mess up the colours there. Let's do that. And then what we'd be saying is that this 2-digit number plus this 2-digit number plus this 2-digit number has to add up to 248. And we have to make that work. Now, do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Let's see if we can tilt at this windmill. Now, I guess what we have to do is to think about, well, the geometry of the 120 cages is a bit interesting to me, just in the sense that I think we can always divide the 120 cage into 2 dominoes very naturally. I don't think there's any choice about how we do it each time. So it's always going to be that sort of configuration, isn't it? That's a terrible colour to have chosen. This sort of configuration. What we can never do is that configuration, because these 2 cells can't be part of it. You can't join them to an adjacent cell now in the 120 cage. So what we know is that those 2 cells plus those 2 cells equal 120. Now, therefore, I want to say that this digit plus this digit must equal 10. I think that must be right, because what else are we going to make them add up to? If you make them add up to anything that doesn't end in a 0, you've broken the puzzle, because you can't make the total add up to 120. So these must add up to 10. They can't add up to 20, obviously. They can't add up to 30. So these add up to 10, which means they're either 1928, 37 or 46. So there's no 5 in these cells, because if there was, you'd have to repeat the 5 in the cage. If these add up to 10, these, right, so yes, these are contributing, out of the 120 that we need these 2 digits to add up to, the units digits are contributing 10 of that total, which means that the tens digits need to contribute 11 of the total, or 110 of the total. So that means these 2 cells add up to 11, and these 2 cells add up to 10. And that logic must apply to each 120 cage. So that's going to be a tens digit. So those 2 digits add up to 11. These 2 digits add up to 10. Those 2 digits add up to 11. These 2 digits add up to 10. Now, I don't know how to pencil mark this. I was thinking of using colours, but I'm not sure whether I want to do that, because it's more natural to me anyway to highlight the dominoes. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use the pen, not the pen tool, the ability to draw letters in the grid, because I can label all of the tens digits here, can't I? That must be a tens digit, that's a tens digit, tens digit, tens digit, tens digit, tens digit. So all of these are tens digits. No, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to make these cells units digits, like that, and hopefully that, and then all we have to remember is that the U's in each box add up to 10 and the T's add up to 11, and that is very useful. Is it to do with the 6's? No, okay, I don't know why that's useful. Let's look at the 248 cages instead then. So the 248 cage has 6 cells in it, so it's going to be divided into 3 dominoes. So we need 3 numbers that add up to 248. So we've got 3 units digits and 3 tens digits. That's very restricted. Yes, okay. So if the 3 units digits add up to 8, then the 3 tens digits would have to be 7, 8, 9, adding up to 24 or 240. So that would be incredibly constrained. But the problem with that is that the units digits don't have to add up to 8, because there are 3 of them. They could add up to 18, couldn't they? And if they add up to 18, then the tens digits don't have to add up to 24. They only have to add up to 23. So they could be 6, 8, 9. Although that doesn't work. Right, that doesn't work. Because if if we go for 3 dominoes, I don't know if I need to show you this or we can just talk about it, but if we go for 3 dominoes, where we say that we're going to try and make the tens digits, that's those digits 6, 8 and 9, to add up to 230, then we need the units digits to add up to 18, but we can't use 6, 8 and 9 in the cage again. So the maximum we'd have left over is 7, 5 and 4, and 7, 5 and 4 only add up to 16. So that's broken, and that's huge. That's absolutely huge, because that means that every single 2, 4, 8 cage in this puzzle contains a 7, 8 and a 9, and then 3 more digits that add up to 8. So there is always 1, 7, 8 and 9 in each of these cages. Now, do we pencil mark that? And if so, how do we do it? Or is the job to somehow do domino division? Each of the cages has 7, 8 and 9 in it. And the 7, 8 and 9 is always the tens digit as well. Right, so that cell is a 7, 8 or a 9. That must be true. Because how could this cell be a units digit? It can't be. We're always reading the numbers left to right or top to bottom. So this square is a high number. So this is what I'm going to do. That number is a low number. Because again, if this was a 7, 8 or 9, in order for that to be a tens digit, we'd have to read it upwards or right to left, which we're not allowed to do. So this is part of a 3-cell sum in this cage that adds up to 8. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And I can do that in every box, presumably. The top left cell of every 2, 4, 8 cage is always a high number, and the bottom right cell is always going to be a low number. So let's colour these in, I think. I know I need no excuse to colour. What colour am I going to use? These are high digits. I'm meant to use orange for high digits, I think, and then cold digits, low digits, will make those blue. Now, what have we learnt about the world now? We have learnt that. Yeah, okay, this is important. Let's look at this domino and ask whether it's possible that both of these digits are blue digits. And the answer to that must be no. Because if these were both blue digits, this cell couldn't have a tens digit in its domino. It would have a choice of 2 blue cells to join up with. And therefore, one of these digits is orange, and therefore there's 3 oranges in this row between those 4 cells, and therefore this cell is blue, and that's in the top right hand corner of its cage. So which tens digit must it join? It must join that one. Oh, this is just lovely. And now we should ask what this digit is. And we can, because effectively we've chopped this digit or this domino out of the cage, that therefore can't be a blue digit again. So that's got to be an orange digit. Oh no, somehow I saw this orange is in this position, and it's not, is it? I was about to be excited. Is it possible both of those are blue? That's the question. Is it possible both of these are blue? If both of these are blue... Oh, it is actually possible. I think that is possible. If both of those are blue, I could make this orange, and it would join that. This would join that, and that could be orange joining to that. Oh, that's very, very Bobbins-worthy. Oh. Okay, I thought we were on a roll, and our roll has been stymied, rather. Okay, so what else do we do then? Let's have a think instead about... We've got 2 high digits here. Does there have to be a high? Yes, this time there does. Okay, so in column 2, you can't have 2 blues there because this cell couldn't have a tens digit in its domino. So one of these has to be high, which means that this cell has to be blue. And if that cell's blue, which tens digit does it join up with? And the answer is the cell above it. Oh, I love this sort of thing. This is so clever. And now look, now what's this? Well, that therefore cannot be blue anymore because it couldn't join up with the tens digit. So that's got to be, you've guessed it, that's an orange digit. Therefore, this is now a blue digit because we've had our orange digit quota in row 2. This is a 7, 8, or a 9. This blue digit can only access one tens digit, which is this one. So that's a domino, which means this is a domino, which of course means that this is an orange digit, which means this is a 7, 8, 9 triple. Now, one of these, is it necessary for one of these to be orange? Yes, it is actually. I'm not actually sure this is very useful, but I think one of these has to be orange because if neither was orange, both of these would be orange and we'd have too many orange digits in column 2. So one of these is orange and one of them is blue. But I don't know if we know the order, to be honest. If this was blue, that would team up there. And then that could be, that would be, I think, a domino, and this would be a domino. Okay, so maybe what we've got to do is to look at something else then. Oh yeah, okay. Right, one thing I hadn't thought about until now. Yes. The 2, 4, 8 cages contain a 7, 8, 9 triple and 3 digits that add up to 8. So you can't put 6 in there. If you put 6 in there, you'd have to put double 1 to make 8, and you'd repeat 1 in the cage. So 6 has to be in one of those 2 cells. Now, does that propagate? It does. That's got to be a 6, one of these 2 cells. 6 here has to be one of those 2. 6 here has to be one of those 2. How strange. Yes, this is massive as well. This is massive. Look at this domino. Where does 6 go in box 1? It doesn't go in those 3 cells. It cannot go in the 2, 4, 8 cage. It can't go here, because if it goes here, you can't put a 6 on this quadruple anymore. So it's not there, so it must be there. Which means that is not a 6. So now 6 in box 3 has to be in that cell. It can't be in the 2, 4, 8. It can't be in there by Sudoku. And if it's here, you can't put a 6 on the 6, 8 quadruple. So that's a 6. Which means that in box 9, presumably, we get that same logic happening again. And like a windmill, we are going around the puzzle. Dum, 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 dum. Just applying windmill logic, which is logic we don't get to see every day. So we do windmill logic, we get a 6 here. We do windmill logic, we get a 6 here. Oh, yeah, okay. And now look, I've got a 6 in my 120 cage, and that logic presumably goes rotationally round the grid. I don't understand what's breaking the symmetry here. It must be something to do with... No, I don't actually understand what it's to do with. It must be something perhaps to do with the fact that as you rotate the 2, 4, 8 cages, the composition of the way the dominoes can work is forced to subtly change. Isn't it incredible that can lead to a unique solution? It's incredible to me anyway. But let's think about this now, because I've got 6 in here. Now, if that's a 6, that's a tens relationship. So this would be a 5, because we know that the tens add up to 11. Now, can that be a 5? Don't see why not. Oh dear. And if that's a 6, that's a 4, isn't it? So that's rather disappointing. I don't think there's much to say about that. Okay. No, right. No, that's not the way to think about this, I don't think. No, it's not. Right, let's take a different tack. What's this digit? Now this digit cannot be 6, 7, 8 or 9, yet it's in a relationship with another digit which requires it to add up to 11. So it has to be 2, 3, 4 or 5. But how could it be? How could it be 2, 3 or 4? If it's 2, 3 or 4, this has to be 7, 8 or 9. And that's impossible because we've already sort of we're already quorate on orange digits in column 2 once we get one of those as orange, and these two are both orange. So this is not capable of being 7, 8, 9. That would break the column. So this is 5, this is 6. There we go. So now I've got another 6. Oh no, I was wondering if that goes over here. But I bet that sort of... Oh, no, maybe not. I was about to say I bet that logic is rotationally symmetric. But it's not going to be, is it? Because in this cage, I've not locked down the third 7, 8, 9. And in this column, I haven't locked it down. So I'm not sure that is going to be quite as powerful. That cell's not a 5. We know these are low digits. So these are either a 1, 3, 4 combination or a 1, 2, 5 combination. These are all blue digits. Well, blue digits actually include 5, don't they? We said that blue could be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. So it's 6s that need a different colour. Let's make 6s green. And let's make 7s, 8s and 9s orange. And is this helping me to colour the puzzle in? The answer is probably not. Oh dear. Right, okay, I'm stuck now. I was wondering whether I could do more with these 6s and 8s, but there seems to be a lot more ambiguity in the other ones. If that's an 8... Oh, no, I can't even conclude about if that's an 8, it's still possible for that to be an 8. If that's an 8, this is a 7, 9 pair. Right, sorry, okay, so now I'm stuck. I'm properly stuck now. So what is it I've not appreciated? Have we got... Is there a way that we can... Like, if I was to... Do I know that's got to be orange or blue, for example? Something like that. I can build more dominoes in my 2, 4, 8 combinations. Where is going to be the natural place to look? The natural place to look was down there, and didn't I already look at that? I sort of didn't feel like... Well, I wanted to be able to say there must be an orange in one of those, but that wasn't actually true. If... Right, okay. Well, that can't be orange, actually. I can say that for certain, I think. Because if that's orange, where does it get its blue digit from? And the answer is there. That's the only one it can access. But now, what's this digit? Well, that can't be orange now because it couldn't get a blue. So this would have to be an orange digit, and that would put 4 oranges in the column. So that's wrong. So I think this has to be a blue digit. And if that's a blue digit, well, we can say that's orange. That's something I think we can say. What I was about to say is, can we say something about blues in row 8? But that's not going to work, because blues are not the same as orange, and not just from a chromatic perspective, but from the perspective of their nature. Orange digits are 7, 8 and 9 only, but blues can be a whole panoply of things. So we're not necessarily just looking for 3 blues in any particular row. We could be looking at 5 blues. So yes, but anyway, this one needs a tens digit, so that's got to have a tens digit here, which is very important because I don't know if it is actually. So now does there have to be an orange digit in one of those? And that would at least make that, yes, and if that was blue, that would be powerful. But at the moment, this could be 3 dominoes like this. So what is it possible, or is it impossible, for this to contain orange? If these were both blue, that would have to join here. Oh no, that's perfectly possible. Bother. So how do we break that? We do. I can't have these. Both can't be orange. So a maximum of one of these is orange, and a maximum of one of these is orange. So I've got 1 orange in here, 1 orange in here. Yes, got it. Right, okay, that's not orange. If that's orange, I've got my 3 orange quota for row 7. So this is meant to be blue. But that doesn't work, does it? Because doesn't that also have to be blue? Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, this has to be blue. If this is orange, this has to be blue, which means it has to connect here. And now this cell here is ambiguous. It can't be orange from its row, and yet it can't be blue because it can't attach to an orange in a valid in any way that gives a valid tens digit. The tens digit it would need to get would be above it, but that's already hypothecated this blue. So that's wrong. So that square there is blue. That's what we've learned there. Now we know. Oh no, I think I said that had to be an orange. Yeah, there does have to be an orange in here because this can't be double orange here. So this has to be orange. And that's great because now we know the order, in the sense that this cell here must join there, this cell here must join there, which tells us this one's nature. That's a blue digit, which means this is an orange digit, which means that we know these squares are from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We know that this is, what's this doing then? So this is telling us that that cell is not an 8. That's as good as I've got for you so far. This cell is not an 8 because the 8 in this little congregation of digits has to be in one of those 2 cells, I think, which means that can't be an 8. So that means that there's an 8 in one of these 2 cells in column 3, which means this cell can't be an 8. And that means absolutely diddly squat. That means diddly squat. Oh no, come on. let's just see. We've got to complete that domino there. This tens digit now. What's that? That cannot now be 7, 8 or 9 or 6 actually. So this cell only has the right to be, it's in an 11 relationship with this cell. So this has got to be 2, 3, 4 or 5. But this is much worse than the thing we had going on over here, because this cell therefore has to be 6, 7, 8 or 9, and it seems to be able to be all of those things. So that's not very good. Oh dear. This cell has to be blue. That's true, because it sees 7, 8, 9 in the column. So if that's blue, and it can't be 5, so it's 1, 2, 3 or 4. So this digit, oh, it can't be 4 actually, because that would require a 6 here, because we know the units digits add up to 10. So this is 7, 8 or 9, which means it's, yes, that means that's an orange digit. And it's okay. Ah, it's not 8, is it? Because the 8's down here in this box. So this is a 7, 9 pair. This square here is an 8, which means that's not an 8. Is that somehow useful? That's not a 2. That's what we get from that, because these two have to add up to 10. Wow, it's really not that useful. I don't think. Oh, no, come on. What on earth? How on earth are you meant to solve this puzzle? 8. Okay, right. This is blue, isn't it? That seems to be something I've pencil marked in. I don't quite know. Yeah, okay, that one I can see has to join there. I don't know if I know where the orange is that attaches to this blue, but I think I do remember proving that this was blue, because it couldn't have been orange, because I think we'd have got too many oranges in that column. So this is not an 8, which means 8 is in one of these cells, which means this cell is not an 8. Now that's in a tens relationship, so this cell is not a 3. This is not an 8. So this is 7 or 9. Oh, botheration, this is mad. I am perplexed. How is this solving? What is it I'm not understanding here? I think there might be a way of propagating these dominoes even further than we have already. So if that's an 8, it joins there, and this would be blue. Could it be... If that's a 6, this has to be a 4, isn't it? Because the units digits add up to 10. So we could go 6, 4. 5 in this box has to be in that domino. So 5 gets wiped out of a whole set of cells in box 7, including this one. So that's not that's not a 6. That's huge. Right. Because now 6 in. So we know 6 is in one of those two cells. It has to be here. So that's not a 6, which means this is a 6. That's in a units relationship. That's a 6 as well. Oh, this might be good. That's a 4. These two cells have to add up to something. That's a 2. That's a 2. And therefore that's a 9. And therefore that's a 7. We've done it. 9 goes up here. This is 7, 8, which means this is 9. Which means that's 7. That's in a units relationship with that. So that's a 3. This now is not a 3. These, oh look. Yeah, look. This set of digits here don't include a 2. Yet we know those 3 digits, because they're in the 248 cage, they have to add up to 8. So this must be 134, and therefore that cell is not a 5. So this is 134, which means these cells have got to be an 8, and they've got to include 8, 9. So where does the 9 go in the box? It goes in the corner. Where does the 8 go in the box by Sudoku? It goes here, and this cell is a 5. Now, I've not put 1, 2, and 4, so 1, 2, and 4 come up here. Okay, now I'm getting excited because I do sort of think that's a massive breakthrough, and I haven't used the fact that I think I've forced that cell to be a 6 as well. I'm trying to remember that. Let me just see if we can do more. We can orangify some digits, we can bluify some digits, we can bluify, orangify, we can 1, 2, 3, and 4 into this column. So let's just put that in and see if we can do anything good with that. Of course I can't. Oh, what a wally. Okay. Bother. Right, okay, so let's try and use this 6 then. That's putting a 6 here by Sudoku. We can orangify this. This is in a units relationship, so that becomes a 4. 4 gets knocked out of those cells. So 4 is in one of 2 positions here. 4. Oh, yes. Where does 4 go in box 2? Not there, because of Sudoku. Can't repeat in its own cage, so it can't repeat here. So 4 is in one of those 2 cells. And I don't know what that's doing, except it means that these 3 cells, which are in an 8 relationship in the 248 cage, now do not have a 4 in them. So this must be 1, 2, and 5, and that 5 there fixes this cell as a 5, which means these cells, this is a 1, 2 pair. Now, that's not a 6, we know that. We can... What else can we do? We can argue about the nature of... what are these cells? From a column perspective, they're 1s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, but they see 3 here. So they're 1s, 4s, and 5s. That's what they are. Okay, maybe I can't do better than that. I mean, I can bluify them. That'll make me feel like I'm making progress. I've got this 1, 2 pair there. I've got... Oh, yeah, look, I've got 7, 8, 9 in this row. Well, I've got to put 7, 8, and 9 in the 248 cage, so that cell's got to be orange now. And now we can find our dominoes. They must look like that in this box. So that's a low digit, which is not an 8. So this is an 8. This cell here must be 8, and therefore we can orangify that. Therefore that cell's a 7. This is an 8, 9 pair. There must be a 7 up here, and therefore we should ask where 7 goes in row 1. It's got to be in one of these 3 cells, and it's not here, so there's a 7 in one of those 2 cells. And I'm sure this is very important. Oh, hang on, I've got a 1, 2 pair here now. Where's that come from? Oh, that's because I got a 1, 2, 5 triple in this 248 box. So that means that's a 3, that's a 4. This is a 1, 2 pair, so this is a 4, 5 pair. So this is a 1, 3 pair, and this is a 4. And that means that, oh, does that mean I've got to put 4 in here? Maybe not. This could maybe be 1, 2, 5. Oh, simple. What do these 3 digits add up to? And the answer is 8, because they're in the 248 cage. So we know that one of these cells is a 1. Now, if one of these cells is a 1, that cell's a 3, and that's a 1. And now this is lovely. This is lovely, because now this can't be 1, 3, 4. So this is 1, 2, 5, and that means that's a 4 to complete the row. That gets bluified, and 4 by Sudoku is in one of these 3 cells, which might matter. Oh, can I do all the 6s in the world? I can do... No, I can't. I've got this one and this one left. But surely there's some pressure amongst these digits now. Yeah, this cage, I reckon, is going to be important. Let me just think about this. What's the best way of approaching it? Maybe it's to pencil mark this row, where we need 2, 3, and 5. Now, what is really possible here? 5 is not possible. It's a units digit, so we know that units digits are adding up to 10. So this is 2 or 3, which means this is 7 or 8, and it's not 8. I just simply love this puzzle. This is so clever. Now, this is 2, 5, so that's a 1. This is 2, 5. This is a 3 by Sudoku. Everything here is getting blued. There's a 5 here, so that's 5, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 1. There is a thorn tree in the garden, if you know just what I mean, and there is also a 1, 7 pair there with the 7 here. So that's 7, that's 1, 7 is a high digit, that gets oranged, blue gets, 1 gets blued, that's not a, oh look, yeah look, this 2, 4, 8 cage needs a 1 in it, and I've got a 1 here, so it must go there, which means that gets blued. There are 4 1s looking at box 3, so we should be able to place the 1 in that box, it must go here. This 9 is ruling itself out of that cell. So by Sudoku, look, we know this is a 2 or a 3 and it's not a 3. So that's a 2, that's a 3. That's in a tens relationship with this digit, which now must be a 9, because we know that the tens add up to 11. And we spinal tap that. We go all the way to 11. We get a blue digit here. We've got... Oh, I tell you, we've got a 3 in this cage, so we know there's a 4 in it somewhere, and that 4 can't go here because of this 4, so that must be the 4. This must be 7, 8 or 9, and it's not 7, so this is 8 or 9 and gets oranged. These 2 squares are a 2, 5 pair, which doesn't seem to be resolved, but they get blued. These squares are 7 and 8 as Maverick flies past. Very low. This is 4 and something. 3. There's a 3 here. Yeah, so that's a 3. This is a 4. These get blued. And now there's a 4 here, so this becomes 4, this becomes 5. There are 4 4s looking at the middle box. That forces that to be 4. There's probably a whole bunch of 5s looking at the middle. Yeah, that's a 5 now. And 5 has to find a home in this box. Now, and we can't, oh no, we can put it in the tens digit. Actually, I'm wrong. Yeah, tens digits add up to 11, don't they? In fact, they have to, because there's a 6. Where's the 6 go in this box? My pencil mark is telling us it goes here. So that was a 6, that was a 6. Both 6s get greened. That cell's therefore a 5. That fixes the 5, fixes the 2, fixes the 5, fixes the 2. Blew the 5 in. This column needs 8 and 9, which is the middle digit lets us know the order. That all gets fixed. These squares are 2 and 3. That's all fixed as well. This gets blued in. This 2 and 1 is fixed. 1 goes here in the middle box. Just need these 7s and 8s to resolve. Yeah, okay, that's a 7 by Sudoku, which fixes the 7 and the 8 at the top, places an 8 here. We need 2 and 3 in the middle, which is 3 and 2 that way round. What a beautiful puzzle. In a, you know, the run of puzzles that we are seeing on Cracking the Cryptic at the moment. Oh, I've just seen, I haven't actually resolved this yet. Ah, no. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what this 6 8's doing. There's got to be an 8 here. which means that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 9, and that's 8. And I want to say that's correct. Wow. Just wow. My goodness me. What sort of nonsense is this? I mean, there is... It's another Cyrano de Bergerac moment, isn't it? Just with, you know, what have you got to offer? Just mon panache. So good. The way that the Windmill worked with the 6s was lovely. The way that I still don't understand really how this symmetry is getting resolved. I can see that the dominoing of the 2, 4, 8 cages, look, it's different in every case. So there's something that's gone on there that's broken the symmetry. And it seems mad to me that just the fact that the symmetry alters can cause this puzzle to have a unique solution and to have a very beautiful solve path. I mean, this is some sort of discovery, this puzzle, honestly. I look forward to the comments on this. There's a number of brilliant mathematicians who watch the channel. But for those of you into your automorphism and your and the like, you can explain how this puzzle, how the symmetry breaks. As I say, I think it's to do with dominoing in the 2, 4, 8 cages, but I may be wrong. But what I can tell you is that SSG has worked absolute wonders to create this. This is another utterly stunning puzzle. I look forward to the comments. I do enjoy them, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.